Hello, I'm so glad you can join me today. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today, I am making curry goat. Now, I was asked specifically to make curry goat by Amar a year. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Amar a year asked me a while ago to make curry goat. He said white rice and vegetables. So today, we're making curry goat, white rice and vegetables. I have my curry goat here. It has already been seasoned. Now this morning I had to leave for church, so I asked my husband to season this for me, which he did, and he used the regular all-purpose seasoning, curry seasoning, and those other seasonings that you have in your pantry. He just mixed a little bit of that with this and just set it aside. So now I have over here some onions and I have some garlic, and this is one whole pot of garlic, and this is what I will be starting with to make this curry goat. So come over to the stove and I'll show you exactly how I do it. Okay, I'm gonna start by putting some olive oil in my pot, and I'm gonna put about 2 tablespoons of butter with the olive oil. Let that melt there for a little bit. And then I have here my pot of garlic. I'm just going to empty that in there. And I'm just going to give this a few minutes. Just a few minutes to saute in the pan. We're going to stay close by because we don't want our garlic to burn, because the garlic gets bitter if it's burnt. So we don't want that. We just right now are going to leave it for 5 minutes just to let the flavors come up, but we'll keep watching it. Okay, so now, since this is here bubbling up, smelling so strong, I'm going to add my onions to that. And I'm also going to let the onions steam here a couple minutes before I add the meat. And that's all I'm going to add right now. And mix this up a little bit. I'm going to also give this about 5 minutes, the flavors and so on to come out. And then I'm going to add some curry to that. Okay, my onions has been in here for about 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do right now is add some curry powder, and we're going to add a lot of curry powder because what are we making? Curry goat meat, so we need a lot of curry powder to do that. So I add my curry in there. In here, this is some paprika. I'm going to add some paprika to that. I have here some ground turmeric. I'm going to add some of that. This is some cumin. I'm going to add some cumin to that. I have here some garam masala. I'm going to add some of that as well. I'm going to add a little black pepper. Ooh. A little black pepper, and mix it up well. Mix all that in there well. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my goat meat to that. Here's my goat meat. Here's my goat meat. I don't want this liquid to go in theirs yet. I'll put this liquid in later. So I'm just going to add the meat right now. And I will save back that liquid, and I'll add that later. I'm not adding that right now. I save this back to add later, and I'll stir this all up here good. Yeah, You just keep mixing it up. Then I'm gonna put a cover on this right now. I'm gonna leave this like that. I'm not adding anything to it. I'm gonna put a cover on it and leave it for a few minutes, 5 minutes, and come back and check it. Okay. Now my curry goat is on. We're gonna leave that there for 5 minutes, but I want to show you something. Now in one of my videos I made a pork shoulder, and after the shoulder was finished cooking, remember I had all of that broth that was left over from the pork. So I told you to save it, to put it in the freezer and save it, because we're going to use it on occasion. But today's the occasion that we're going to use it. So in here is my broth. You see it's frozen because I had it in the refrigerator, so it's frozen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this just come down to a thaw just a little bit. I'm not going to let it thaw completely, but just a little. And then all this oil that is settled on the top, you see this part here is what we want here, okay? But this oil, I'm gonna get rid of this oil, so I'm gonna let it soften up just a little bit. I'm gonna scrape off that top off of it, get rid of that, and then we're gonna be putting this to season my rice, so when you eat your rice it's nice and tasty, okay? So in a few minutes I'll show you exactly how I do that. All right guys, so it's about 5 minutes. I'm gonna check my meat, and as you see here, I didn't put any water in it as yet, but it has started to accumulate some water. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, what I've done here is that water that I had seasoned the meat with, I added some more water to it. So now I'm gonna put that in here, just bring it just above the meat itself, just to the top of the meat is what you want to do. And now I am going to leave this in here. I'm going to cover this. I'm not going to add anything to it. I am not going to add anything else to it. I'm just going to leave it here, and in 1 hour I'm going to come back and I'm going to check it, and I'll add peppers and different things to it. But remember, with goat meat, some goat meat, I guess it depends on how old the goat is. Some of it cook very quickly, others do not. So you have to test it and see. But we're going to be back in an hour to check our meat to see how it's coming along. If we have to add more water, we will. I'll add my peppers and other things that I need to add. But right now, I'm just going to leave it on a low medium heat to cook for at least 1 hour before we check it again. Alright, so let's see if this is thawed out, softened up enough to just break off that top. Because if it thaws down completely, it is hard to get the oil out. So you want to do it when it's still hard. See? So when we're cooking, we're not cooking with all that grease. Try to cook as healthy as possible. Get rid of all that grease. All that stuff causes cholesterol, and your cholesterol high, and we don't want that. So this is it. So now I will cook my rice with this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this out of here. It's still frozen, but that's fine. I'm gonna turn my stove on to low, and I'm gonna let this heat up. When it's heated, then I'm gonna add my rice to that, and I'm gonna add some more water. But just remember, now I have this meat that already has a lot of seasonings and herbs and so on inside of it, so I don't need to add onions and scallions and different seasoning to this, because this broth here has all of that in it already. So when this starts down, I'll come back and I'll show you just before I put the rice in there. Okay guys, now I'm about to cook my rice. Now I said earlier I'm cooking white rice. This is brown rice. It's rice with no peas or anything. I'm not putting any peas or anything in it, but I'm using brown rice. To me, it usually tastes the same. My daughter complains that white rice doesn't taste the same, but it does to me. So I'm cooking brown rice instead of white rice. So first thing I'm gonna do with my rice is just wash my rice. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of wash. It doesn't really have, like, brown rice don't really have like all that starch that you will find in the white rice, but you still have to wash your rice. So now let's put this rice in the pot and cook this rice. In this saucepan I have my broth from my pork that I did before, and to it I'm just gonna add that rice. I haven't added anything else in here. Normally I would add onion and all that stuff to my rice, and butter and all that stuff. I don't need to add anything to it because that's enough seasoning in there. Now I'm gonna give this a little stir right here. So instead of saying white rice, it's brown rice. And now I'm going to add some water to that, guys. And whenever you're going to cook rice and you add water to it, you just need enough water just to come just above the rice. Just above the rice. You see how that is? The water is just above the rice. Well, that's what you need. Okay, just above the rice. Then I'm going to cover this tightly. And my stove is on low, and I'm just gonna let that sit there. Put my stove on low and just let that sit there and mainly like steam. Now let's go to over here to the goat meat and see what's going on over here. You see we have all this liquid still in here. We give it a stir. It's getting soft, but I can see that it's still not soft enough. So it need to cook some more. It's getting soft. So what I'm gonna do now is, this is where I add my peppers and different things to it, and then leave it again for maybe another half an hour. Guys, I'm about to add my herbs in here, but before I do, I want you to see exactly what I have, and I rested everything over here so you can see as I put it in. So I'm gonna start here with, this is bell peppers. This is 3 different color peppers, including green pepper. So I am going to just add that in there. Make sure you have everything in there. Here I have some dried thyme that I'm going to drop in there, and I have some potatoes. Now what these potatoes help to do is to thicken the gravy. So I'm going to throw some potatoes in there. I have here a large tomato cut up. Put that in there. Over here I have some jalapeno peppers. This is about 3 small jalapeno peppers. I have the seeds and everything inside of it. This pepper is very mild, it's not very hot. So and it gives it a good flavor, so I throw that in there. And I have a couple of celery sticks. Throw that in there. And of course, you know guys, I like to add some ketchup. Even though we have tomatoes, I throw that in there. Now normally I would add a little hot sauce, but my daughter's complaining that I put too much pepper in the food, so I am eliminating the pepper. I mean, I put jalapeno pepper in there, but I'm eliminating the hot sauce for her. And then when your gravy is at this stage, guys, if you want more liquid in there, you add more liquid to that. And if you want to make roti, when this boils down, then you're not going to add liquid because you want it to not be too wet for your roti. So right now I'm not going to add anything in here. I'm going to put my cover back on and let this continue cooking for a while. And I am going to be back in half an hour to show you what it looks like and if I need to add anything, and test it to see if it needs salt. So I'm going to leave this here, let everything cook for half an hour, and I'll be right back to that. And here my rice, you see the rice is coming along. I didn't put a lot of water in the rice, but the stove is on very low, and I'm just going to let that stay there and steam until it's cooked. Mar also asked for some vegetables, so let's get our vegetables. Very important. So I have here today for my vegetable is going to be cabbage, some broccoli I have here, and carrot. So I'm gonna rest these over here for a couple minutes, and while I cut up my cabbage, so I'm gonna cut my cabbage in half right here. And I'm probably going to use all of this cabbage because I had it for a little while and it's going bad. I don't want it to go bad, so I'm going to use it so I can get rid of it. So I'm just going to shred it. And then I have here that I'm going to add to that my broccoli. Add some carrot to that. So on this side right here, and you're going to hold your carrot lengthway this way, and you're going to, so you have long pieces of your carrot. See, that way. And this, you're gonna add to your carrots. So let's go over to the stove and saute these vegetables. Let me show you how I do it. To start our vegetable, guys, I'm gonna put a little butter in the pan. Now normally, sometimes when I'm doing this, I'll add some onion and some peppers to it as well, some bell peppers. But I'm not going to bother with the onion and the bell peppers today. I'm just going to do the vegetable itself. So that is a little bit of butter. And we're going to put a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to go ahead and add all this stuff in there. As I said, it seemed like a lot, but it's really, once the cabbage cooks down, it's not really that much. And I'm going to sprinkle on a little bit of salt. Not a lot. A little bit of all-purpose seasoning. A little bit of black pepper. Just to season it up a little bit so it's not bland. We're not going to put too much seasonings on that. And then I'm just going to take this small spoon and just stir it, just so that the salt and so on can go through everything. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this on a low heat and let it just stay here and steam down. And that's all. That's all for that. I'm going to put a little soy sauce to it, but I'm going to put the soy sauce after it's cooked down. And that's it. I don't need to add anything else to that. Okay guys, now let's check. It's half an hour since I put that stuff in there. So let's check everything and see. Oh, it's looking good. Looking good. Now, is this meat cooked? That is the tester now. Let me get a fork and test the meat to see if it's cooked. Let's test the meat. It's soft. Yes, it's cooked. It's soft. It's tender. Yeah, it's tender. It's cooked. So now, so it took an hour and a half on here. Looks good, doesn't it? Now, if you want more gravy, you can add more water to it. I don't want no more gravy, just the amount that I had put in here earlier, and that is good for me. So now I'm going to taste this and see what it tastes like. Let me get a smaller spoon. Taste it. Ooh. That is good, and I did not even put salt in it, and it is so good. Oh my gosh! Woo! It's a little bit spicy though. Guys, I put those jalapeno pepper in it. It's a little spicy, so my daughter is gonna complain. Good thing I put no hot sauce in there, because a little bit spicy, she's gonna complain. But it's a good spicy. See how nice and thick the gravy is, guys? The potato helps to thicken the gravy, makes it nice and thick like that. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. I outdid myself. Amar, this is your curry goat. Looks good. And it is done. It tastes good. I'm going to turn my stove off and check my other stuff and see if it's all done. But curry goat. Okay guys, let's check our rice. Ooh, that cover is hot. Let's check our rice and see if I need to add a little more water to this or not. The grains are good. I think it can probably use a little bit more water. I'm just going to put a little more water in there to steam it down just a little bit more. And you can always add that, guys. A little water, let it steam there a little more, get a little bit softer. It's soft, but a little bit softer. Now let's check our vegetables. Here we got our cabbage and our carrots. Just stir it a little bit. Okay, good. Now I'm going to add a little soy sauce to this. I'm adding some soy sauce, guys. This is some soy sauce. And this soy sauce I have, it said low sodium in here. Doesn't have a lot of salt, so you're okay there. Because I did add a little bit of salt earlier, so that's low sodium. So, and I don't want this to cook. I'm just gonna let it steam just a couple of minutes more and then turn the stove off. And that would be all done. I also have a plantain too that I'm steaming as well. A couple more minutes and we'll be ready to eat. Everything is all done. Let me show you what I have here. So we have here our our goat meat. That's all done. Over here I have a sweet potato that I put in the oven, and I have a plantain that I put in the oven. So this is the plantain I cooked in the oven. I have over here my cabbage and broccoli and carrots. That's all done. And over here my rice is all done. So I'm gonna plate everything up, and then I will come back and show you what everything looks like on the plate. So Amar a year, our goat meat, our curry goat meat, rice and vegetables are all done. So here it is. It looks and smells delicious. So of course I have to try it for you to let you know how it tastes. So let's give it a try. It looks good. So let's give the rice a try. Very flavorable is the rice. From that stock last week, oh, it gives it a good flavor, so it's very flavorable. Now let's try the goat meat. It looks good. Oh, look at that. Now if you were making, guys, and you just wanted to make roti with this, you would just take that, just like that right now, and just wrap it in your skin, because there's not a lot of liquid to it. Let's give it a try. No, that is good. I didn't add any hot sauce to it, but I add those jalapeno peppers with the seeds. So my daughter's gonna complain because she said you always make the food too spicy. So I know she's gonna complain, but it's good. And guys, you have your mixed vegetables here, which all I added to this was a little pepper and salt and so on. So I'm gonna taste this one too. It looks like I'm eating a whole dinner right here. It's good. I can just tell you that it's good, but you have to try it for yourself. But if you follow the recipe exactly the way I did it, you would see exactly how it tastes. It tastes delicious. Guys, I am so glad you were able to join me today. I hope you can make this for your family. I had fun making this for my family, and I hope you have fun making the same thing for your family. Don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and hit that bell icon. That way you'll be notified every time I put a video up. Until next time, bye bye.